Next up, this one's going to be, here's an argument here. Using piles under a deck versus just setting it on grade. So I don't know that this practice is super common in all markets, but it is common in many markets. And I've seen these things referred to as cottage blocks or slabs or like deck levelers, adjusters. There's all sorts of names for like this setup that you can put a deck on the ground instead of in the ground. Because in many markets, it's code compliant to not use piles depending on a variety of factors. So in our market specifically, in Regina and even Saskatoon, you're allowed to use these on-grade options and not use an in-ground pile if your deck surface is less than 6 feet above grade. However, if you go down the highway, 40 minutes to Moose Jaw, the rule is over 2 feet, you have to use piles.
Okay.
Under 2 feet, you can't use... Sorry, under 2 feet, you can use the grade things, and above that, you need piles.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
And just indifferent.
Because this is not a common practice in other markets, let's explain what this is. What the practice is when they're doing this is they put down like a 16 by 16 inch slab, like sidewalk block, 2 inches thick or around there. And then on top of that, the deck just sits on that. Often in our market with an adjustable leveler of sorts, like a telepost kind of application thing, like a short little tiny telepost.
Yeah.
So you can adjust the deck when you have frost heave or soil settling or whatever. You can adjust it after.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, as opposed to driving or drilling or setting a pile on the ground. So go ahead.
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
It's like, how do I explain this? So if the deck is going to move, then let it move and build so that you can plan to adjust it. Because if you're not going to drill a concrete pile twice the depth of your frost, then the pile isn't working.
Right.
And so don't put in the effort. If you're going to drill an 8 foot deep pile in our climate, then it doesn't do anything anyways. So just put a slab and adjuster down.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're going to put a 14 foot deep pile, then that's the right application. But nobody does that.
Right.
So either do the right pile with a 14 foot deep concrete pile or a helical screw pile. Insert installer there, whoever it is, doesn't matter to me either. Yep. And if you're not doing either of those, then just do the slab because you wasted your time anyways.
Right. So yeah, I would. The asterisk to this, I guess, is anytime you put a roof structure on it, you need piles regardless.
Sure. In-ground
here
contact.
too, right? It could be 2 feet off the ground or a foot off the ground. If you put a roof on it, it needs, for wind lift purposes, needs to be an in-ground pile.
Yep.
It needs to be attached to the ground. But so in our market, so I don't think that either of us would disagree that the pile is the best way to go.
Correct.
Like you should do and we're big fans of helical screw piles. So you should do those on your deck. However, in our market, if we were to not sell people decks that refuse to use a helical screw pile, our sales would probably be 8% of what they are.
Yep.
Because the majority of decks built in this market are built just with the slab option. Because the majority of decks aren't that tall.
Yeah,
the majority of decks are like
2 feet, 3 feet high.
Ledgers are typically 3 to 4 feet off the house, and the city's fine, and the codes are approved, and the inspectors are fine with these on-grade applications. So,
and it's cost effective. Like a screw pile is $300. The slab setup
levelers 30
yeah,
bucks.
It was like $30 bucks.
So yeah, and I guess my opinion is
then
they're
I could
fine
sell
for the
them
ground.
joist tape.
I don't know that I'm crazy about
And
going
cut.
like pushing that 6 foot marker, but like the under 4 feet, that's fine. I mean, you're in your backyard, you got a windbreak with your fence and everything else. The odds of getting wind underneath that
It's hardly
to lift
windy
it
here.
are hardly. If there's anywhere that these decks are going to lift, it's here. Like if there's anywhere that these things shouldn't be allowed, it's probably here.
Yep.
Because the wind this year is unbelievable. Like it's always windy here because we got no natural wind breaks.
There's a tree by Moose Jaw.
Yeah, it kind of redirects it around Moose Jaw and blasts it up the backside of Regina. Boy, that sounded like, hey?
I thought maybe it was just me because
Some guys are
fireball.
Some guys are hitting the rewind button. We're like, what did he just say? Blasting it up the backside of the Regina? So it is what it is. Some markets are okay with this, and it's hard to say like you shouldn't do it like that when the city and when they're saying it's code approved and you're allowed to do it, then people are going to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's okay. You could argue that the 16 by 16 slab is actually a great way to disperse weight. Like if you're going to put a little,
Spreads it fine, yep.
like a little Pilex 40-inch screw pile in, 50-inch screw pile, you're going to twist that in. There's like a 6-inch disc on that thing?
Yep.
There's no chance that holds as much weight downward as the 16 by 16 slab. It's not even close.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
think
the surface
the
area.
knock on the adjustable on grade option is that it doesn't spread the weight effectively, like can't hold the weight. It's
Yeah.
more that it's not attached to the ground.
Yep.
So if you were to get a massive wind underneath, could the deck lift? And it's like, I've not seen it here
Yep.
that's happened. And we've had, like, you get gale winds here that'll flip a camper over a house.
Yep.
But I haven't heard of
100K.
anybody really like lose their deck.
100K wins every
So,
year
yeah.
at some point.
So anyways, that's enough on that one. Like, piles are the way to go here. If it's approved by your building department and you're okay using it and you need to save some money, then it's an acceptable thing to do in many places.